Friends. So today we have a book that I am so incredibly excited to be talking about. So I don't know if a lot of you remember, but a couple months ago, made a video about the excellent book by Angie Thomas called "The Hate You Give." It was just a fantastic book that was written from the perspective of a young 16-year-old girl named Star, and basically a lot of the things that go on within her life. Again, I'll try to avoid some of those spoilers. For all of you that still haven't maybe been able to read it, but it was just a fantastic book that dealt with a lot of racial issues facing our country and different things like that. Very powerful message. So today we actually have a book that is going to be drawing a lot upon that, and it's also written by Angie Thomas, and it is the prequel, which is called Concrete Rose. So this book, I want to preface by saying you can read it before The Hate You Give. You do not have to read The Hate You Give first. However, I personally believe that if you do that, it is very effective and better because you understand these characters a little bit more. You're going to understand a lot of what is going on, and it makes it just that much more impactful. So I would recommend reading Concrete Rose second, but again, you don't have to. It ends in a way that isn't going to spoil The Hate You Give and so forth, but that's just my personal preference. But getting back into the book itself, it was absolutely fantastic. So, as you all know by my other review, The Hate You Give grabbed me from the moment I started reading it, and Angie Thomas led me through this incredible story that I just couldn't put down. I absolutely loved every second of it. I'm so happy to say that The Concrete Rose does the exact same thing. You actually are reading this time from the perspective of Maverick, Star's dad, and basically he is 17 years old and he is going through life. His father is in jail. He is a drug dealer, and Maverick is brought right up into that. He is doing basically following in the footsteps of what he's been shown. However, everything kind of comes crashing down in the very beginning when suddenly he has seven. Aisha, which again, if you remember some of the characters from The Hate You Give, Aisha abandoned seven, and suddenly Maverick has a little boy that he's raising, his own son, and this becomes a very unique dynamic, and I can't go too detailed into it without spoiling the book, so I will try to avoid that, but it is an incredibly unique, interesting perspective that is very rare to see in books, even ones that speak about characters of color. It was such a vibrant and interesting portrayal, and something that I feel was so incredibly positive. So, something that I've seen a lot is you really miss this perspective of a black male, especially a young one growing up with this type of environment, constantly surrounded by drugs and so forth, kind of like some stuff we see in The Hate You Give. But in this time, it's a very positive way it's being shown. It's almost deconstructing a lot of these stereotypes and narratives that we have been shown and told for so long. And it was so refreshing to read. And like I've said, it once again gripped me in a way that The Hate You Give did, where I couldn't stop reading it. I wanted to know what was going to happen to these characters. And obviously, I had some ideas having already read The Hate You Give, but it didn't stop this just fear and these feelings of such strong emotions. And I really want to give a lot of credit to Angie Thomas in that way with the way she writes. It is so powerful and impactful. And unlike a lot of authors that I've read recently, and to show you even more about Maverick's struggles within the book, without hopefully trying to spoil anything, throughout it you have this constant struggle of how he wants to raise seven, and if he wants to stay within this drug scene, selling drugs and doing so forth, because he is able to make a lot of money really quick that could help him and his family, but it's also selling drugs. He's dealing drugs. So even the everybody around him, his nickname is Little Don after his dad, because that is what he is. He's the shadow of his dad, and they're expecting him to live that exact same lifestyle. And again, it's hard because I don't want to spoil anything within the book. It is such an incredible book, but you really have this dismantling of stereotypes around specifically black males and the way that they are coming up in the world, even with his depiction as being a father to seven. And it's extremely powerful and emotional. And even about halfway through the book, you're going to see a really, really powerful turning moment that just changes everything, changes Maverick's entire view on everything, and it's so powerful to read. So while it's such an amazing book, and I know I am avoiding a lot of things because I don't want to spoil it, because the book takes a lot of turns similar to The Hate You Give. It's going to have a lot of different story elements. It doesn't take away from just how powerful of a book it is. And it reminded me of The Hate You Give in the way that it dismantles different stereotypical roles. For example, in The Hate You Give, we saw a lot of Black communities and the way it dismantled these stereotypes, because for so long we've had depictions of how a community like that is going to be, how they are treated, and so forth. And with the original novel, we saw so much of Angie Thomas just kind of pulling that apart. Like, no, that's not how it is. Let me show you what it really is. And very similar with this, this does that for that male perspective, the Black male perspective. It really starts to just pull it apart and show you something so much more real and raw. And it was so refreshing to read. So overall, yes, 10 out of 10. I give it an A+. It is a fantastic, fantastic book. Definitely read it.